So welcome to today's video. This is quite an exciting opportunity. We have some Scribe wheels in today, and we've got a really good opportunity because we have an identical set of Scribe wheels. And for those of you who watch the channel might have seen these on a YouTube short that we put up where the customer came in and they're saying, look, when I'm going up a hill, put my power down on my left-hand side, the wheel flexes and rubs the brake and it's irritating the hell out of me. And when this wheel first came in, we saw that it was under-tensioned, which is quite normal actually. What we're finding is with more modern wheels, which are wider, tubeless, is that they actually need tensioning once the tyre's been fitted and inflated. So we did that, we fitted the tyre, inflated it, and brought the tension of the wheel up. Now we do that by taking all the pressure out, checking the tensions on the spokes, because the Scribe don't give you the spoke tensions online, taking those, inflating the wheel, and then adjusting the spoke tensions to come up to where it was when the tyre wasn't inflated. It made a difference. We gave it back to the customer to test ride, and a little while ago he brought them back saying, do you know what, it's still not working for me. Can you do something more? And that is what we're going to try and do in this video, take you through the process of why this problem exists in the first place, how we're going to attempt to fix it, and how we're going to test it now we've got this opportunity of having two identical wheel sets to test with. All right, let's get started. So before I get into this, I want to describe why this problem kind of exists. And this is because Scribe are one of the family of wheel sets which I'd sort of call Facebook wheels. They're absolutely fantastic at advertising and digital marketing, and you'll see them pop up on your Instagram feed and your Facebook feed, and these guys know what you're searching for. Their SEO, their search engine optimization is fantastic. Just taking a look at their website under these are the Scribe Race. Straight away in the title, race, 1,454 grams, super light, alloy, super fast engagement, all those sort of things that you're going to be searching for when you're looking for a set of wheels. And the price, currently at £410, which is outstanding. The photography they've put up is fantastic. Everything's got alt tags. All those things are up there, like 3-year warranty, 30-day returns, all the stuff that you would be looking for. And if you were comparing this to a set of Mavics or Fulcrums, this looks absolutely fantastic. But there are issues. Now, the issues come if you're a bike mechanic or wheel builder, you'll be spotting these a mile off. But for the general rider, this is a lot of smoke and mirrors going on. When we're looking through this, the first thing that comes to me is you flip onto the big roads.cc review that they're really boasting about, and roads.cc give them a fantastic review. But the set of wheels that roads.cc have tested are different to these, and the biggest difference is the set that they tested actually feature the Sapin CX Race spokes. And anyone knows they're an incredibly durable, fantastic spoke, but also incredibly expensive. The spokes that they're actually selling with these is from a company called Pillar, which are nowhere near the quality of the Sapin CX Race. So they're not reviewing the same thing, which is a bit of a red flag in my book, really. You can't really advertise, even if you've done a change, you can't really put the same thing onto that product page. The reviewer has given it a fantastic review, but it's essentially a read-through of the press release and offered an opinion at the bottom. Now, the reviewer doesn't say that they've experienced any problems with flexing, which is unusual because it was a really obvious problem. Now, flipping back to the Scribe website and just going through some of this, so much stuff. 4D precision drilled spokes, which is incredible. Most things are 4D CNC machine these days, but there we go. A lot of stuff on here which is just standard industry speak, which they've prettied up a little bit. The biggest thing, having replacement bearings, they aren't expensive. But you have to go right down to the bottom of their product page to get some insight as to what's going on here. And it is the weight limit. The upper combined weight limit, bike weight, rider weight and luggage for these wheels is 100 kilograms. If a rider is in excess of 90 kilograms, we recommend regular wheel checks from an experienced bike mechanic. Now, the fact they put this in right near the bottom indicates to me that they've got some knowledge that there is some sort of flexing or weakness going on. 90 kilograms isn't loads. I think quite a lot of riders are around the 75 to 80 kilograms, and then combine your bike weight, a few litres of water, a toolkit, etc. It doesn't take a lot to get very close to that weight limit. So I think they know that there's something going on here. What are we going to do to fix it? Well, here's my idea. This is the wheel that we've taken apart. This one we haven't done any work to. This is the same tension as it came from the factory. First off, In the YouTube short that I did, I explained that it wasn't a great set of material choices for this type of wheel. You want something that is going to be super stiff, because when you describe a wheel as lightweight, you imagine someone taking on steep hill climbs and that sort of thing, where you really want that lightweight, but you need that stiffness. You want that acceleration, and you don't want all your power from your legs going into just flexing aluminium and spokes. You want it actually to go through to the tyre, onto the ground, and propel you forwards. So you want that stiffness. Now, what they've done here is they've built the drive side with a 3-cross pattern, and the spokes are very what we call tangential, so the force transfers all the way through. Now, this is really, really common on mountain bike wheels when you expect your wheels to be taking big impacts or you're putting them under a heavy load. So you often see this on commuter bikes, mountain bikes, where you want that robustness. For road bikes where you want ultimate stiffness, you tend to find a 2-spoke design. But what they've done here is 3-cross this side, and on the non-drive side, they've actually gone for a radial lacing pattern, which means no crosses at all. It just comes straight from the hub and into the rim. Now, this little combination isn't that uncommon. In fact, you'll see it in the Fulcrum Racing 3s, famously, a really, really good quality wheel set. What these guys have done that's different is that they've reduced the spoke count even further. So there's only 7 spokes on this non-drive side, and it's really not enough. To kind of illustrate the point, here are the spokes that we've taken out. These are the pillar spokes, and these are super, super flexible. There's hardly any rigidity in those at all. So even when they're under tension, you can still really, really flex those. And if you look at something like the Fulcrums that have done a similar thing, or the Shimano, or the Mavics, that have all experimented with this idea before of having radial lacing on the non-drive side, they always use a spoke which is actually very rigid and stiff. So taking some clues from that, we've ordered some spokes from Ryan. I really recommend these guys. The service they offer is so good that we really don't have to worry about holding many stock of spokes or having a spoke cutting machine here. We can literally, virtually next day delivery, get any spoke we want from these guys at a really reasonable price. So if you're building your own set of wheels, check them out. Spokes from Ryan, he's got his own YouTube channel as well. But anyway, we got these, and these are a straight gauge 2mm straight pull spoke, and instantly you can see just how much stiffer they are. We don't even need to put it under an awful lot of tension to see that that is a significantly stiffer spoke. Now, I think this might even be slightly overkill for what we're trying to achieve, but I want to test it here first, and possibly if this works too well with the other wheel, we can probably go to a butted spoke. Let's get this built back up and give it a test. Okay, so we're true to about 0.5 mm or so either side, and up on the up and down as well. Just bringing it up to tension. It's still a little bit under tension. What I'm going to do now is put the tyre and an inner tube in there to inflate it and compress everything, and then bring it up to the same tension as the other wheel so that we can compare like for like. But it's already feeling significantly stiffer. So this is our control wheel. I'm just going to take some spoke tension measurements. So what I've done here is just taken some average spoke tensions, and for a 1.1 by 2.2 spoke, this is reading 115 kilograms of force on the drive side and 160 kilograms of force on the drive side, which is a hell of a lot of tension, probably more than this wheel is actually set up to do. But the average on those two things is 137, which is still pretty high. I'd imagine an aluminium rim like this to have a maximum tension of probably around 120, so we might have already exceeded. So my plan is to probably bring the test wheel up to about 120 kilograms of force and see how that compares to stiffness. So as I thought, by inflating the tyre it's dropped that average spoke tension by about 10 to 15. So what we're going to do is bring up the tension on this one to closely match the other one. So we need to bring this up by about half a turn each side. Okay, that half turn's made all the difference. Done a quick true, and the average spoke tension are now around 120, but some of them are not actually equalised. So what I'm going to do now is just go through the process of equalising the spoke tensions, keeping the overall tension on the wheel around 120 kilograms of force, and I think we're about done. So I think we're done. Spoke tensions are pretty equal. The average spoke tension is coming at around 122, 123 kilograms of force. The run out is 0.3 of a millimetre. It's a good set of wheels. I think we should get this back to the customer and send it out for testing before we start work on the other one. I can already feel there's a big difference just by being on the floor and doing the de-stressing. You can already feel it's significantly stiffer. So let's hope it works. So for me, the takeaway from this video is if something looks a bit too good to be true, it's not that it necessarily is, but you definitely got to start asking yourself some questions. Are you being led down a too good to be true route? I.e., does everything seem to be too fairy tale? Is it lightweight and cheap and all those sort of things that you want compared to the other brands? And when you really dig down into the details, you'll see why brands like Fulcrum, they use 9 thicker spokes on the non-drive side, for instance. That must be for a reason. So what makes this brand so special that they can get away with 7? Or are they just trying to lead you down that trap of we're amazingly light and amazingly cheap, and where are those actually savings coming from, and are those compromises that you're willing to make? There are only questions that you can ask yourself. Now, the quality of this, I can't really fault. The wheel was built okay. The spoke tension was a little bit low, but it was generally even. The rim material looks okay. The one big bugbear I have with Scribe is that they don't give you all of the parts for the hubs. So if you try and find an axle end or an actual axle itself, they're actually quite hidden in their website and sometimes don't even exist at all, and you've really got to go hunting for those sort of parts. They definitely don't list things like the maximum kilograms of force on their rim, which most big manufacturers do. So there's lots of little things like that which are kind of missing. But it's not to say that you shouldn't check out something like Scribe. Why not? But just be aware of what it is that you're buying. I definitely don't have a hatred for what I call Facebook wheels. I'm pretty sure we've all seen those adverts on our Facebooks and our Instagrams for things like Scribe and Winspace and those sort of wheels, because there are some really good ones out there. For instance, we're big fans of Percenti and Ven. We've had really, really good experience of those. I know that there's some fantastic reviews floating out there for Winspace. And Scribe, they've had a few sets of Scribes in with similar sort of issues to this, really. Spokes not being consistent with what's advertised on the internet, part availability for hubs, annoying stuff like that, which a major brand would probably have covered off. So there we go. I think it's a case of pay your money and take your choice, and your local bike shop is always here to help you out in case it doesn't go well. If you like that video, let me know in the comments below, and again, get down there in the comments, tell me, have you got a set of Scribes? Are you happy with them? Have you had issues with them? Keep sharing the knowledge, because that's how we all learn. Okay, till the next one, take it easy.